Welcome to downtown Boulder. This is really special because we have a newborn. I haven't left the house in 10 days, like literally. I'm either training from the house or running on the treadmill or bike. So this is really special. And most of all, this is the route where champions are made. This is the infamous Gold Hill. We start here in downtown Boulder, and you can see Green Mountain there in the background. We're actually going to be above Green Mountain within an hour. And so this run is as much about the downhill, coming off that really getting up to 8,500 feet from here at around a mile high, as it is the uphill. So why does this route make champions? This route makes champions because the uphill, you really can't avoid but make it a threshold workout. Like there's really no way to run up some of the steep grades you're about to see without having your heart rate go into Z3, Z4. So that's a wonderful aerobic stimulus, really good for mechanical power. But that's not much different than the treadmill or what I can do at home. What is very different is when we come back down from Gold Hill, we're running back down those mountains, and that is eccentric muscle contractions to the max. And when you get those types of muscle contractions, what you'll see is in the days after, you'll have delayed onset muscle soreness. You'll get more sore and more sore, especially when I haven't done much of it. But the magic is the body can adapt so fast. In fact, I think it's the coolest adaptation in all of human physiology, where you do these eccentric muscle contractions, you get immensely sore, like 24, 48 hours later. But then if you do it another week later or 2 weeks later, that soreness dissipates by about 75%. And then if you do it again after that, almost 100%. It's magical. Some of it is happening in how the actual muscle fibers themselves change, and some of it is in the nervous system and the ends of the nerve axons and how those change. But that type of stimulus is essential for the races I'm going to do, and it's something I don't do much of overall because it's a huge loading stimulus too. I'm going to be flying down those mountains, hopefully around 5-minute pace. When you do that type of pace down those types of mountains, you're also risking a lot. And at 36 years old, I can't do too much of that without risking my health, my speed, my longevity, my love of the sport, my femurs, basically everything that goes along with it. And that's one of the big revolutions that's happening in trail and ultras right now. It's like our theory is that it's about running economy and getting the strength needed to survive things like this, rather than having this be the focus of all of your work. So this is the hardest adaptation stimulus I'll ever do. Way harder than any of the speed work or anything like that. That's why one of the main things we're doing today is high carb fueling to the max. One of the big reflections I've had and thoughts is essentially, why did my breakthroughs take until age 36, essentially? And I think the simple answer is we didn't have the high carb science until then. And so today, the high carb I'm doing is not just about performance now, it's about adaptation to this day. So the stimulus is so high. And with that in mind, I'm going to be trying to take in 140 to 160 grams of carbohydrates per hour, not something I do outside of these very, very hard, long days where I'm going to be going 21 or 22 miles. I think that what we're essentially seeing is that carbs make incredible things possible. So 6 beta fuel gels, each of these is 40 grams of carbs. I'll probably be taking a whole thing. I'll have some backup with Director Cody. 2 100 milligram caffeine gels from Precision. They're amazing. And then I have 4 bottles here, which we're going to be handing off throughout, all of which have 20 grams of Scratch, a couple of which have Precision 1000 tabs. So that is a lot of fuel. Okay, actually, before we go, a very direct description of the workout itself so people understand what we're getting into. So right here, we are starting at Drew Holman, a famous ultra runner and one of my best friends' old house. It's a famous location in Boulder, good place to start. And then it's 1 mile up to Centennial Trailhead, which is a good place to go to the bathroom, reset a little bit before the main part of the climb. And so the climb from there to Gold Hill is about 9 miles with a little over 3,000 feet of climbing. In those miles, I'm going to let my heart rate go up into zone 3 and zone 4. Actually, I forgot my heart rate monitor today, but I know my feel well enough. So it'll turn into quite a beefy threshold workout, essentially 2 by 20 minutes. Once we get to Gold Hill, we'll reset, get some more carbs, and then bomb back down the mountain. And I'll be taking in lots of carbs because one of the big principles is when you're running down the mountain, you do not want your legs to be held together by kale. Kale is amazing, but it's not going to be what keeps you healthy and keeps you adapting. I want my legs to be held together with a ton of carbs, with French fries, with pizza, with burgers, with all of the things that go into just making you a robust athlete. Because the biggest theme to remember from a training perspective is that running is a power sport. One more. He's suffering still.